Hi, this is Alise Saunders with Tales from an Untamed Soul. Today I am in Lake Helen, Florida, and I am with Cheyenne Potter, who is 13 years old, and she is a race car driver. It is an amazing story. This girl is on fire, let me tell you. She has life all figured out. I wish I had figured out life as much as she has now at my age. But you are going to love this story. This is a story about how she got into racing cars. This is a story about why, even facing the reality of the life and death decisions that she makes behind the wheel, that she is so confident in herself. She has such a high level of self-trust in her abilities, her knowledge, and her experience that she's able to confidently go out there, race against adult men and women, and how she is so confident that it is of the utmost importance that she be living her dreams and living her passions, that she is willing to take these risks. And you are just going to love hearing from Cheyenne. She's an amazing woman, and I cannot wait to see all that she accomplishes in the future.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Potter. I am 13 years old. I live in Lake Helen, Florida, and I drive a 600 wing and non-wing sprint car.
You are 13 years old, and you drive race cars. That is amazing and cool. So how did you even get into racing cars?
Well, when I was younger, my brother and sister used to race quarter midgets, and then when I was about 5.5, I said I really wanted to race quarter midgets. And then when I got older, I wanted to race 600 sprint cars because I had gone and watched my friends race them. And now it just became a reality over time.
Oh my gosh.
We got the first car and I just fell in love with it.
So what is it about racing cars that draws you into it?
Just like when I'm in the car, I'm not worried about other things. Like maybe I have a test tomorrow or something is going on in my life. But when I'm in the car, all my worries and troubles just go away. And I can just be me driving a car. And it's just awesome.
Would you say that it helps you really stay in the present moment?
Yes, it does. It helps me not be so eager and not like worry as much, but at the same time, I'm like eager to get in the car and race. So it just almost helps me calm down and like realize what is going on in life right now.
Got it. How old were you when you raced your very first car?
Probably around 5.
Oh my gosh. And so that's the midget car that you talked about.
Yes, the quarter midget.
Got it. Can you explain what that is?
It's almost like a quarter size of a 600 sprint car. And it's for younger ages from around probably 4.5 to 16 years old. And it really helps kids like learn how to drive and how to be in control of a car. And it really helped me a lot going into bigger cars. So I think it's important almost for kids to just learn the fundamentals of racing and learn how everything works.
In the cars that you race now, tell me about what makes that appealing to you, that like you want to get in that car and you want to drive really fast.
That whenever I race a dirt car or whenever I'm race, I just love sliding around the corner. It just makes it so exciting because not every lap is going to be the same. And really it gives you a challenge because the track changes as the race goes on, and it can change through the night depending on if it might rain or if it hasn't rained in days. The people can take a water truck out there and water the track down right before your race goes out. So you have to think about where you're going to drive on the track and how you're going to drive the car.
Got it. you don't race people your own age. You race full-grown adults, and especially men, right? It's a male-dominated sport, right?
Oh, yes.
5 women on the track. How many guys are on the track, do you think, on average?
Well, there's usually about 23 cars that race the 600 sprint with the big race, and so a pretty good amount of men.
Right. And these are adult men, ranging from ages of 18 up to 80, I'm sure.
There's
right?
like some younger ones, but really most of them are adults. Around probably, from 18 to like 70 something, almost 80.
Got it. How do you feel about racing against adults? Is that weird for you?
Not really, because I've almost gotten used to it. I don't really think about the age. I just think more about the driver. And like, whenever I get into the car, I don't think like as much about whether it's male or female. I just think about like, if I know that driver's driving technique, I'll think about how I'm going to drive with them.
Is it difficult for the other drivers to drive against you, being so young and being female? Do you think they think about age and gender?
I don't think so. I've never really been treated differently. There have been a couple times through the years where someone has said something, but not really like to where it impacted big. So not really, I don't think.
Everyone has been fairly accepting of you since the very beginning of you racing the, 600?
600 sprint car, yes. I've made, like, one of my biggest friends at the racetrack is 73, and he has taken me under his wing. He's helped me a lot, learning the different styles at the different tracks, and he has helped a lot, like, working on the car with me to show me.
He gave you a compliment recently, didn't he?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said that he loves driving with me because I'm a respectable driver. I don't push into other people on purpose. I know how to drive around people without wrecking other people.
You don't just participate in these races.
I haven't won a race yet, but I'm hoping to soon because
And by won, you mean first place?
Yes, ma'am.
Got
But
it.
I have made a lot of goals that I've, like, passing my first car, going around the corner correctly, like, getting up there on the board is, like, a goal that I've reached, and it's just, like, little goals throughout the time period.
How long have you been racing the 600s?
Almost 2 years.
I think your mom sent me a picture where you had won second place one time.
Yes, that was with the wing car.
Got it. And so how many second, third, fourth, fifth places have you placed? Do you know?
That was my first time getting a second. I think I've gotten third a couple times, so at different tracks.
You actually do physically work on your own cars. You help build, you help fix, all of it. Can you tell me about that?
It's been a lot of learning. Me and my dad, we've learned together a lot because, like, older people who have been racing 600 sprints for a long time, they come and they teach us how to fix different things. And it's been a lot for me to learn. Like, I've learned how to do things by myself so that when my dad may be working on a different thing, I can be working on it just to get it done faster almost. And in my family, we say, like, if you're going to race, you have to work on your cars, because if you're not going to work on it, my dad isn't going to go out there by himself. And so we have to be responsible and work to achieve what we want to.
Where do you get the passion to go out there, get filthy, right? To spend the time of putting the car together? Where does that come from?
There's always something in me that just wants to get better at it. I want to reach my goal of winning a race, a big race for the first time. And I know that I have to go little goals at a time. And something in me just always wants to go back. I don't want to give it up because it's just fun. It's energizing almost.
Looking at your cars, they are pretty dinged up. You've got mangled wheels, you've got bent metal safety cages. So talk to me about the dangers of racing, what can happen, but when you're driving, how you handle yourself in those situations.
I know when I go onto the track that I could get seriously injured or I could possibly die if it was a very bad accident. But I know at the same time that we've done everything we can to be safe. All the safety gear against fires, different ways that we have different things on the car. We have a bar over me so that if anything went to hit in, I wouldn't get hit in the head. We've done different things, and I know that I'm safe in the car. And whenever I race, I know that a decision can possibly decide if I get into a wreck or not. And I know how to make the best decisions to know that I'm safe.
Cheyenne, I will tell you that sometimes decisions in life have been hard for me, and they weren't going to be life or death. You're 13 years old. How do you handle, you're on a track, things are moving really fast, right? There's lots of things happening. There's other factors that you can't control, like other drivers. When you think about those life or death decisions that you're making in that moment, what's going through your mind? How do you make those decisions and feel confident about them?
I really just make the best decision that I feel is possible to make. And I know that if I were to get injured, I would be injured doing what I love. And I always try my hardest because I've seen other people get into wrecks and I know what to do in different cases. So I really always think about things thoroughly. Even before I get onto the racetrack, I think, what would happen if my car caught on fire? Where would I take the car so I could get out of it as quickly as possible? It's in God's hands, really.
Safety is really important to you. Can you talk to me about your safety protocols?
Well, I have underwear that sounds like underwear, but it's almost like long johns, but for fire. And then I wear a 3-layer suit. And I have a Hans device, which is something that comes around my neck that protects my spine and my head. And then I have a head sock that protects my head from fires. And I have a helmet. And I have gloves. I have socks that are protected against fire. And it all just, whenever it comes together, I know that I'm safe. I have different things as well, like arm restraints that protect my hands from going out of the car if I were to ever flip. And things like this just help me know that if I were to get into a flip or if I were to get into a fire, I would know what to do and I would know maybe how long I have to get out of the car before I could start getting burned.
What is your philosophy on living and life that allows you to live so untamed, so passionately, so all in when it comes to racing? And do you live this way in other aspects of your life?
I know that with my racing that so many people are almost like, wow, you race? And I've honestly kind of gotten used to it throughout the years. But whenever I really think about it, I'm like, wow, I race. And I just know that if I quit, then I would be stopping something that I love doing. And if I didn't race, then, it's a way for me to enjoy my life. And I don't want to just spend my life living in the shadows, not putting myself out there to do extraordinary fun things that I love. And in other things, I love just having fun and knowing how to have fun at the same time without hurting myself or injuring myself, but how to just enjoy the moment that I'm in.
What is your philosophy on death?
On death, I think that if you have lived a full life, and I know that if I climbed into a race car and I died because of a horrible accident, I know that even though I'm only 13, I have loved every minute of it because of my racing, of anything else that I do in life. And I believe that if you are doing what you love to do, then as long as you love to do it, it's a personal decision whether you put on a chain for rock climbing or get into a race car. If you love to do it, then you're the one risking your life, and that's up to you as long as you love it.
What are your racing goals? Like, as you look out into the future, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, do you have goals that far out? And can you share those with us?
I would love, one of my near goals would be loving to win a race for the first time. One of my goals for a long time is maybe getting into a full-size sprint car, and that is a goal that I know would take a lot of work, but maybe one day I would love to achieve it.
What would you say to other race car drivers who might be watching this, who are really young, and what would your message to these young people be if they wanted to get into race car driving like yourself, but they're really nervous? What would your message be?
My message would be that you should always try your hardest and work to the best of your abilities, because it's not easy, but if you put in the work, you can reach your goals. And that you should go by the small goals, because even though they might be small, like passing your first car or getting up to speed that is fast, it is still a big goal in the end, and it helps you a lot, almost just push you forward to reach your overall goal. I just try not to be in a shell where I do the same thing, but I also try to think about everything that I'm going to do and think about it thoroughly, so that I'm not just going to be crazy and could possibly hurt myself.
So what do you think is so exceptional about yourself that you're able to live with this passion and this wildness that allows you to live your life so freely, so untamed from fears that bog most people down?
I learned, like through my brother and my sister racing, that if you just stay in your own little corner, then, like, I've even realized it, you're going to get bored, and you want, in the end, to take those leaps and just try what maybe you've been thinking about doing for quite a while. Do it. Go for it. As long as you know that you're doing it right, and know that maybe you'll mess up, but you can fix it. You can learn from it. And really, as long as you just do what you know how to do and learn from everything, from all your mistakes, and try your best, then you can do it, and you can take that leap of faith, and you can go for your goals, no matter what they are.
So you don't just race on asphalt, you race on dirt. Why is that different, and why do you prefer dirt racing?
Well, the first time that I practiced in my 600 sprint, I instantly loved it, because you really get like excited sliding around the corner. For me, it's the sliding, and then maybe not knowing what's going to happen next, but knowing what might, and being able to decide how I'm going to come out of the corner and how I should change the way I'm driving my car. And really, it's just a lot of driving that you have to do with your brain, really, because you have to think about everything instead of almost just getting everything being the same every lap. It can change at the beginning of the race compared to the end of a race very differently.
I'm trying to imagine me personally being in your car on that track, hitting the gas, and I've got all these other people around me. What's that feeling like for you?
That feeling is almost when I get excited, because especially on the first lap of the race, it can get chaotic, but I've learned how to get around the corner, because honestly, in the first lap of our races, it's almost like a 50-50 chance that there could be a wreck because of how many cars are packed closely together. And I've learned over time how to get around the corner and get through that first lap and get through the rest of them and use the knowledge I have. And really, that first, getting ready to start and go green, I've learned to just get everything out of my mind that was already there and focus on driving the right way.
If more people just focused on the present moment, how do you think that would transform their life?
I think that it could possibly help them in the end, even though you're thinking about what's going on right now. I think that it could help you get your goals in the future, because you can think about how you're doing right now. You can think about what's going on, and you can say, well, I should do this, or I should learn how to do this. And you can get your small goals before you jump to your big one, and it'll almost help you just learn your balance throughout it and learn how to do different things to help you in the overall goal.
So do you feel like you have community support, like parental support, family support? And what does that mean to you when you're out there on the track?
Yes, I do. I have a lot of support from my family. My grandparents, they like to come watch me. They bring their friends to come watch me. My sister, she lives close to there, so she'll come watch me most nights. Even if she just drops in for an hour before I even race, it helps me because I know that she thought of me and she was there. And really, I know that I want to try my hardest to show them that they've put so much work and effort to help me get to my goal. And I have also put a lot of work and effort in, and I just want to make them proud in the end.
How do you feel about yourself with what you've been able to accomplish? And does the more that you accomplish create more confidence, or how does that transform how you feel about yourself?
It does create more confidence, but I know that when I get on the track, anything could happen. So I just try to be confident while also not almost getting cocky to where I think, oh, I'm going to do awesome. But you almost want the mentality of, I really hope I do awesome, so that you can help your performance in the end. Because if you go out there thinking, well, maybe I'll do okay, then maybe you probably won't do all right because you went out there with the mentality of, I'll do okay. But if you really think, I hope I do pretty good, and I hope last time I got better, and this time I want to get better, you could possibly get better. And as long as you think about that, it could help you.
You are on fire. You have so much confidence in what you're doing. Where does that trust in yourself to do this, to handle this massive car on this track with all of this chaos going on? Where does that trust and that belief in yourself come from?
I know that I have experience, especially as I was saying earlier in quarter midgets. You don't really realize it, but you learn a lot about control of the car, and you learn about, if somebody's right next to you, you don't want to push them up into the wall. And it really has helped me a lot put more trust into myself, that I know that I won't just get myself into a wreck. And if somebody comes up underneath me, I know how to handle it instead of thinking that they're pushing me up into the wall or pushing other people up into the wall. I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of experience. And I know that if I get into a situation, I know that I will most likely be able to make a decision as quickly as I possibly can to help myself in that situation.
Is there anything that you think that you can't do if you set your mind to it?
No. If you really set your mind to doing something, you can achieve it. Even I've seen from my personal experience, I've seen people who have gotten physically hurt so badly that they couldn't do maybe what they were doing before, and they still worked up to the point that they could do it and they could get to their goal, even if something has set them back. And I know that if I have the mentality that if I really work hard for what I want and I set a goal and I get there, then I can reach what I want to do.
How do you handle people that say you're a child, you're 13, you're a girl, you should not be behind the wheel of a car? How do you handle those situations?
I would probably tell them that they have their own opinion, and that's fine that they have their opinion, but I'm not going to change it because I love it and I understand what can happen, and I understand that I might be a girl, but I've still worked hard for it. I'm not going to give it up just because somebody said something about it. And that's fine that they have their opinion, but I'm going to keep mine.
So many times people have something that they're really passionate about, but they're too afraid. They let money or circumstances or beliefs that they're not good enough stand in their way. What do you say to those people in regards to what they're passionate about?
If you're passionate about something, then you should go for it. Even if you don't think that you could do it, then you might be able to if you haven't tried yet. Or even like when you get into racing and you may be in your first race. My first race was not very good. I ended up having to go to the infield because I had a pop tire. But I didn't let them drag me down, and I just kept on pushing to what I could do, even though maybe I had a second, like I had the thoughts of, well, that didn't really go good, but I thought right away that next time I'm going to work hard and I'm going to think about what happened and I'm going to try doing something different. And really, for the people who don't believe in themselves, I hope that they know that if they work hard for it and they put their mind to it in the end, that they can most likely do it if they just try their best, really. And there could be money things that go into it, but you can still have, like, maybe not the newest things. My cars are not new, but I still try my hardest to do my best with what I have. And maybe we get things and we sell things off that we're not using anymore to help us get to the point that maybe we can buy some new things once in a while.
And you also have sponsorships.
Oh, yes, sponsorships are a big part of it.
So how does that go? Like, are you involved in getting those sponsorship deals?
Yes, I am involved. I just love whenever we get new sponsors because it all goes towards helping the car and helping everything that I'm doing.
So you have a big race coming up at the end of the year. It's going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this is going to be your first national race. Oh my goodness. Like, that, there's going to be a lot of people there, right? 900 people. Is that right? At least?
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited for it, but I'm also kind of nervous because I know that there's going to be a lot of really good racers there. But I know that I'm going there to learn because it's my first national race. And I'm going there to learn what it's like and just have the experience of going to these races and just being able to adapt to different tracks, even though I've never raced there before.
So this is so big that some of the NASCAR drivers actually participate in this race. Is that intimidating to you, or is that just cool? Like, what do you think about that?
I think it's cool to know that, like, maybe I could be possibly racing with a NASCAR driver, but I think of it just as another driver that I'm racing with, and I know that some people have more experience and some people are really good, and I just look up to them and I hope that I can be like where they are one day.
So many people get destination addiction. And what I mean by destination addiction is like, it's all about the outcome. When I listen to you talk, it's about what you're getting from that experience, that adventure, that moment. Talk to me about how you thrive in that versus always staying focused on the future of where you want to get to.
Well, one of the things I like to do is just focus on getting better because I have thought about my future, but but I also know that plans can change at any minute. And I know that I'm working to get better, and that's what my overall goal is. And even though plans can change, I just want to focus on getting better with where I am and getting more experience throughout doing different things in the moment.
If you have a daughter that wants to be a race car driver, what do you say to her?
Oh, go for it. Do it, because it's awesome. I would just like to take a moment to thank God, because I love what I'm doing, and I'd like to take a moment to thank my sponsors, because without them, I wouldn't be able to race. Potter Motorsports, PM Graphics, DeVary Paint and Body, Southern Sassy Crafts and More, Radical Race Gear, Hyper Racing, Competition Coatings, Chris Construction, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Competition Lighting, and Wix Filters. Without you guys, I would not have been able to accomplish everything that I've done. Thank you.